I can do. Okay, all right, so I am going to introduce to you Ellen Nelson, our presenter tonight. Ellen Nelson has been an evergreen-based professional photographer since the last century. She wrote this. She wrote it.
I wrote this. Oh, that's funny.
Working as a
For the iPhone.
right before the iPhone. There you go. Working as a photojournalist, portrait and commercial photographer. Her award-winning photos have been published in books, advertisements, and magazines worldwide. And she has a headshot studio in the historic Stonehouse in Evergreen. She has a monthly photo page called Out and About in Colorado Serenity magazine and is often the cover photographer. Ellen exhibits in the Evergreen Gallery and the Majestic Gallery in Idaho Springs.
When people do this.
Specializing in local wildlife and mountain scenes. She's a certified professional photographer, CPP, has a Master of Photography, MPhotog, and won the prestigious Jack Avalos. Is that how you say it?
That's Rick Avalos's dad
Okay.
from
His
the Jeff and Rick show.
and that's a memorial trophy for photographic excellence. And most recently, a bronze, silver, and gold medal in Professional Photographers of America, their highly competitive 2026 International Photographic Competition. Woohoo!
That was fun.
Huh?
That was fun.
I bet, especially when you win. And to top it all, Ellen earned 9th place in the world with her rodeo photo called Missed It by That Much in the sports category for the first place winning Team USA in the 2025 World Photographic Cup. Whoa.
You're good to see that photo.
When asked what her favorite subject is to photograph, Ellen answers, anything that moves. Connect with her on Instagram and Facebook, which you list those out. And it's kind
You
of
can see them.
yeah. She'll show it in the
I'll show it.
presentation. So, welcome, Ellen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What do I need to do? Do I need to share my screen, Tom?
Yes,
Okay, so share.
just share desktop on
Yeah.
and you're good to go. Start your presentation.
I don't know. Go to PowerPoint. And play from start.
Oh, never mind. We have to be.
There we go. Cool. By the way, I had reason to call the Butterfly Pavilion today. And Butterfly Pavilion used to have photographer days or mornings, like every second Saturday, I think it was. And they don't do that anymore. That's when they give you an hour to use your tripod in the Butterfly Pavilion. And now they only do it randomly to have these photo days. And if you go on their website and Google or do a search on photo days, you'll see that there's just kind of a couple of days every year that they do it. And it happens to be this Sunday. And so I'm actually planning on going if anybody is interested. I just thought I'd throw that out, just let me know. It's not an Evergreen Camera Club thing because I don't want to complicate it. But if anybody wants to come with me, just let me know because I plan on going on Sunday morning and love to have your company. And also you would be getting macro photos for what is it? Maze TNT. So that's just something to think about. Okay, I just wanted to throw this out at the very start. I had a really hard time making this presentation because it could have gone in so many different directions. And everything is changing just crazy. It's so hard to keep up now. And so I just wanted to throw that out. And every single one of my title slides could be a day-long, a college course. Do you know what I mean? So I just want to let you know there's so much more to talk about. And so hopefully I will be doing this justice with trying to tie together the high points. Also, just to be politically correct or whatever, I don't know if you've been hearing, it's the trend now to call a photographer the maker or the creator. And I just wanted to let you know that that's a nice way to talk about it, because you know what? We are creators and makers now. We're not just photographers. So, but I'm just going to call y'all photographers. I'm going to call it the way it is, the way I'm comfortable with. So anyway, I'm just going to start. And some of you have seen this. This is my Ellen show. And some people don't even recognize Ellen DeGeneres' logo because it's been a while. But anyway, so here's my Ellen show, abbreviated. I started photography as a teenager, professional photography as a teenager. Oh, look at Chrissy's going, what's the heck? Mine? This is, I think I'm 17 or 18.
That's framed in your house.
What?
I hope that is framed in your house.
No. But you know what I really like about this photo? Can you see I have my non-shooting eye open? That is the sign of a sophisticated photographer, that your non-shooting eye. So anyway, just so here I am. You can see the guy with the leisure suit, so you can figure out. But yeah, that's like I said.
Hunter S. Thompson.
This was taken in Michigan. I worked as a photographer at a resort in Michigan. Boyne Highlands, by the way. And that's me in college. And I'm holding negatives. Those are negatives. And that's this right here. Those are like darkroom trays for black and white. So that's me in college. And I didn't even know that the head photographer took that picture of me when I was in the lab. So anyway, but I now have a studio in the Stone House, which is North Evergreen, Bergen Park, whatever you want to call it. It's not very big, but it's great for headshots. And so that's, and my mannequin head right there, that's Molly. And Molly and I get along really well. She does everything I say. And I do a lot for Colorado Serenity Magazine. And here's just some of the covers from last year. And then you probably remember this one that I used for the end of year-end holiday parties. So that's where that photo came from that I used without the rest of the magazine stuff on it. I also have a photo page, the Out and About page in Colorado Serenity Magazine every month. It's about this, maybe the second to last page in the magazine. And this is the one, I don't even think this has come out yet. This is about to be the next issue of Colorado Serenity. And it was a taste of 285, which was a lot of fun. Just real quick, if just along the 285 corridor, a bunch of participating restaurants that I had never been to. So it was great, like the Shaggy Sheep. Because anyway, in Grant was fantastic. Also the winery. Where is that?
Aspen Cellars.
Yes. Oh my God. Fantastic. And then Two Dads Tap Room. Highly recommend. And that was the one with the pizza. So anyway, so that's kind of cool thing about being a photojournalist or that type of photographer, you get to do things that you wouldn't normally do. And that's kind of a fun thing, you know, having a camera in your hand is almost like a free ticket. And here's just an ad that I have just showing some of the things that I do. That's my daughter. So she every once in a while is forced to, actually, she does a lot of theater and so this was her, her headshot for auditions. And then I don't remember who this is. Can someone help me out here?
Yes.
And then I do a lot of seniors. I seem to do male seniors more than females, and I think I finally figured out why. Moms hire photographers for their sons. Girls figure it out on their own, and they have an entire network of friends and family and everything. So the female seniors are doing it themselves, but I get the moms who want me to photograph their sons. So I get a lot of son seniors, and that's fine with me. They're great. I also love photographing sports. And
Do you go outside for some photos?
hmm?
Do you go outside for some photos?
Oh yeah. Yeah, mostly outside. In fact, this is the one that Leslie and I did last year. Leslie had a student that needed a senior portrait, and we did this one together.
That's you, Alyssa?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Charles, you're my favorite piece.
Also, Tina mentioned that I'm a certified professional photographer, and this was the test to photograph. The mannequin, his name is, oh my gosh, no, Sherman. And you have to photograph Sherman in specific lighting conditions. And then there was also a 100-question test in order to become certified. So not to be taken lightly. And then I got my master's, and there's Dave, and then that was the president of PPA at the time. And I'm a member of all these professional organizations, and it just, all of them are doing such cool things. And so I highly recommend that you consider some of these organizations. Okay, well, ASP, the one about American Society of Photographers, you have to have your master's to become a member of that. But the one in the middle, the Guild, that's Colorado Springs. They're doing amazing things. TPPA, that's Texas. And then the one up at the top, I'm going to be talking about more. This is the Colorado one. And we've got something coming up, and I'll be showing you that in just a minute. So number one for your photos not to suck is to take a class. Take something. Go, well, you're here, so you're getting a club event. Go to a workshop. Do things that will just elevate your game. You're not gonna get better unless you at least go out and shoot. I always kind of think of it like practicing the guitar. Do you think if you pick up the guitar and then you don't pick it up again for like a month or two, are you still going to be good? I mean, you've really got to practice. So Professional Photographers of Colorado, and by the way, if you don't recognize this logo, it's brand new. They had this personally, I really like the old logo. It was kind of this old fashioned, like 4x5 camera and stuff like that. So now they have a new logo. And coming up is Elevate 26. And I highly recommend that you at least go on the website, and you can see it down below. Elevate is an annual event. So if you can't do this one, maybe you can do next year. And the photographer, this is one of the featured photographer. Her name is Kenzie Hunter, and she's amazing. But if you can only do one day, I recommend that you do the second day, which is the Saturday Skills Lab. And that will have 3 different sessions, and it's hands-on. And oh, by the way, this is in Denver. And it's hands-on. This is Carrie Cleghorn. She will be the composition skills lab. And then there's also one that is specifically on color theory and a third on lighting. So 3 different skills, hands-on on Saturday. So if anybody's interested, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask me, because I will be there. And I would love to see you. I would love to see you guys. So that's that. I am going to Texas School in a couple of weeks. Texas School is probably, you know, Texans, it is the biggest school of all the schools. Oh my God, there's like 30 different classes. You recognize some of them. You remember Doug and Laura Bennett? They spoke to us. They're one of the teachers. Oh, I don't know. I can't think of who else you guys might know, but there are just a lot of really cool, accomplished photographers that teach week-long classes. So it's like from Sunday to Friday. And the one on the far right, I took that class. That was the high school senior portrait class. If you don't like Texas, there's one in Florida. It's called the Florida School, and that's and so here again, go online. Like maybe you have family and you need a reason to go to one of these places. You can go there and then go to one of these week-long classes. It's a lot of fun. I've been to West Coast School 4 times. It's also a fantastic one, and I'll show you photos from my West Coast School in just a little bit. This is East Coast School. So you can see there's probably, well, less than 10, but these classes are phenomenal. So I highly recommend you look into it. And it might be a class in pet photography. In fact, is this the one where I've got a photo? I've got one of the ones. Oh, here we go. This one. This is East Coast School Instructors. She is teaching a class all week on pet photography. So, you know, just so you know, this gentleman in the middle, Scott Detweiler, I took his class at West Coast School and 2 years ago, and it was so good. I called West Coast School last year and I said, that was so good, I want to take it again. Is that silly of me to want to take it again? And the guy said, darling, everybody is taking his class again because AI had changed so much in just a year. So anyway, so here's a couple of things that I did with AI. This is 100% me writing a description in paragraph form as to what I wanted the photo to be. So, and then I was doing a whole bunch of really silly stuff like jellyfish, and I mean, all really kind of cute girly things. And I thought, and I was looking around and I was saying, oh, I better show them that I'm not totally silly. So I did flamingos in a dystopia. So anyway, like you can see this, so I was just having fun, but here's some practical stuff you can do. I had photographed this model a couple of years ago. And it's okay. I mean, it's nice, but she's not telling a story, right? Which is another thing about what you want your photos to be, to elevate your photos, is you want to be a storyteller. So I decided through AI that I would describe where I wanted her and put her in a market. So that market is 100% AI generated. And I'm just kind of showing you this to show you what's possible. And also to not fear AI and to embrace it, because there are some things that you can do that, well, I'm going to be showing you in a little bit, that can make your photos, just elevate your photos, take it to the next level. Also, you need to be wary of the photos. So the woman on the left, that's, oh gosh, now I've forgotten her name, from the special needs instructor for the rec center. Starts with an M. No, I'm not remembering her name. Anyway, this was at the Polar Plunge, and she was at the end of the dock. So she was in all of the photos, photographing the Polar Plunge, because there was no ice this year, was just on March 1st. And I wanted to take her out because I just wanted this guy. And look what I got when I lassoed. It's like this one-eyed llama with wings. And that's, so you gotta be careful about what AI can do. So eyes wide open when you use AI, you gotta be careful, but I just thought that that would be interesting to show you. And by the way, a lot of these things that I'm gonna be showing you, if you're just shooting a JPEG, you just don't have the flexibility. You don't have the data that you need to, you know, if you're using the sliders in Lightroom and it's a JPEG and you're going, why isn't this working? Well, it's because it's a JPEG. It's not you. It's because there just isn't enough data to handle what Lightroom or Photoshop wants you to do. And here's just a real quick comparison of the difference between JPEG and RAW. And somewhere in here, and you know what, I gotta move this because this is in my way. So let me get this over. Okay, so JPEGs have 250 levels of brightness, and RAW is like 4,000 to 16,000. So, okay. Okay. So now we get down to the nitty gritty. Don't show this again. Okay. Come on. So why do your photos suck? Let's just pretend what we've got going on here. Let's pretend we've done some photos, or maybe you're the judge in a competition. These are the things that you look for in your photos or in competition photos, and you want to fix them. So the first one is a crooked horizon. And this one is seriously crooked, but I took this. I was under the bleachers at the rodeo, and so I wasn't in the best position, arm position. But in Lightroom, do you know how to fix that? Okay, good, because here is all it takes to go into the slider that has crop and then auto, and you can crop that. But once you crop it, be aware of what is on the edges, especially because check it out, we have a half a person on each side. So be aware of that and just kind of scan the edges of your photo and make sure you don't have half people, because half people are not healthy. And so I just trimmed it in a little bit, still a 4:6 or 2:3 ratio, and no longer have those half people. Another issue is lost detail in the highlights. So here's a photo, and you can see that you really cannot tell what's going on here. There's not feather detail there or in the around the beak. And if you look at your histogram, you can see that little peak at the far right side. That means that you've clipped your highlights and they're not there. So in this situation, oh, there's a triangle. So you can, because it's giving you kind of a clipping warning, you hover on that and it shows you where you've lost detail. And that's with that arrow right there, and then you drag down your exposure or whatever else you need. Maybe it's highlights. And now I have detail. Same is true for shadows. Here's just this is a fiery furnace in Moab. You can see, here's my warning, my detail lost. And you can also see, because in the histogram, you don't want something crashing into this side or this side. You saw where I lost the details and the highlights. So by hovering on that, you can see the blue. In the highlights, it was red. In shadows, it's blue. So all of those places is too black. There isn't enough detail. And so here again, you might wiggle the slider for shadows or raise your blacks a little bit and watch the histogram to get it off of that far left side. Other things about this particular image is that the colors lack pop and the sky is kind of blah. Here, I'll go back one. See, the colors are kind of boring and the sky is blah. What do you think I should do? No comments?
Exposure.
Well, okay, there you go. So here again, I thought, since I don't like the color, change it to black and white. Then the next thing you want to say about your photo is, where do I want the viewer's eye to go? And I'm thinking that I like this point, the point right there. That's sort of my point of interest. And so therefore, what is all of this stuff in the foreground? Is it really necessary if I want this to be the point of focus? So I'm going to crop it. So here's my point. I want it. And then I cropped it. What do you think? Yeah. Thank you, Penny. Okay, some other things about, you ever hear people talk about, I want it to pop? Often it's contrast, that you really need to have more contrast, but obviously always be careful. Don't ever overdo it. Just give it in little doses. But here's some of the things you can do in Lightroom. Here's kind of a boring photo. I just took this. One of the things in Lightroom that you can do is in the masking, the one that looks like a Oreo cookie or something with a little circle around it. I don't know what that, but in the masking, you can mask the sky. They now have landscape, they have architecture, there are all sorts of choices for the selection, along with doing it yourself, selecting using the brush tool or the object select tool. So here I just said select sky, and then I changed the some of the sliders just to make it just the sky only, to make that pop. And then okay, so that's how that one's looking. And then I want to duplicate and invert that mask. So that's a right click, duplicate and invert, and then that gives you a mask of what you didn't, of what's not sky. And you can see you see these two masks here. What's white is what's being manipulated, and what's black is being not manipulated. And so right now with the red showing that that's the overlay of my mask, I can then make changes specifically to what you're seeing in the red. So I'm gonna wiggle my sliders a little bit, go back and forth and say, okay, I like that. That gives me a lot better feel for what I saw. And then finally, that last little fun thing is the vignetting. And I always recommend that you don't go any more than 25 on the vignettes. That's right down there. Here's the before. And there's the after. So just, you know, just so this one, the before is straight out of the camera. And that's just giving it more pop, more interest. Also, if you're into it, you can consider a sky replacement. I don't use sky replacement very often, but I felt that I needed to show you. This is in Photoshop to go to sky replacement and then use either your own sky or one of the Photoshop skies.
Oh, 8,926.
There you go. Okay, let's talk about distractions. Distractions have gotten really easy to fix thanks to AI. Here is again that lake plunge. And can you see that there are wires? There's cables, telephone cables and stuff. There is now in both Photoshop and Lightroom, there are remove wires.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Give me a minute. I'm getting there. Okay, this is Photoshop's right now. So I'm showing you in Photoshop there is up here, it's in that toolbar. It's not in a menu selection. It's just right along kind of with this along the same thing as like what your brush tool is and stuff. If you have your clone stamp or your brush selected, that information will come up and there, so that says distractions, and then you can do wires and cables or people, and I did wires and cables, and you can see that they're gone, except you got to be really careful. Okay, I'm going back. So there it is gone. And then, but you can kind of see that there's still sort of a little bit, there's some right there and some right there. So you gotta be careful. But it did what would have taken a really long time before. And then in, let me see. Okay, I'm
All right, Zoom people should be able to hear us. You're still screen sharing. Everything should be good.
How about video?
Yeah, go ahead and turn that on too.
Yeah. Come on. That's weird. I've never seen that up there before. Okay.
Yeah, it's because you're sharing. You gotta hover over this little flag in the middle.
Oh, okay. Okay, do you know what halos are? Have you seen it? I'm not talking about the celestial ones. Need to be aware of them. What? Oh, let me see. Hang on.
Where do you find
Hang on. Let's see. View.
You can just click on slideshow.
They
See it
Was-
over to the left, right up on the side.
wasn't presenter view.
You didn't want me. Right?
Yes, she does.
Oh, because you can see your slides, that's what you want.
Remember that, where that was, Dave? Yes, in PowerPoint. Yeah, where in PowerPoint?
I'm so sorry, folks. Yeah, let's do slides so that.
Well, we're gonna.
Was it settings?
That subtitle settings is not what I want. I don't know. I don't see what I saw before.
Okay, well, let's see if I just say slideshow, if that helps.
Wasn't it, well, I think our screen definitions got turned around because of the reboot. No. Yeah. I should just finish off with what you got. Didn't see which one.
I'll do anything to go with that.
Yeah, that's the problem. We found this, another settings menu. Where was it? Well, it was up in here, but you know, it was up in slideshow, but it wasn't. No, it can't be, because it was in here. Setup show. Maybe that's it. That was it. There it is. Primary monitor. Yeah. Got it. That's how.
All right. Okay, so I'll thank you. And I'll just kind of not take too long. So anyway, so why do you get halos? Well, it's from over sharpening or extreme adjustments. And then here's an example of,
Comment on Zoom, by the way. Someone said Artemis 2 astronauts had to call NASA IT to fix output.
there we go. I love that. Thank you.
Good NASA IT, like.
So if you could see, can you see the halo on the ridge line? On the upper one with the arrows pointing at it, there's just kind of a fine white line. If you have that, know that you've kind of over processed the photo, and and just pulled the colors a little too hard. And so the easiest thing to do is to just back off. And so that's what the one is on the bottom, is just that same photo, just not so much saturation, not just an extreme look. Well, okay, I mean, I could go into a lot of detail as to what you could do, but this, at least the easy answer is to just back off a little bit. Also, censor spots, if you have,
You're not showing, on Zoom, did you say you're sharing your screen?
oh, maybe it unshared.
Yeah.
When with all that, yeah, well, I gotta get out of presenter mode.
Get on the video.
No, it says that I'm sharing.
All right, stop sharing and share again. There you go.
Yep, sure enough, that's me.
Now go down the bottom there.
Okay, I'm gonna do this one.
Right, there you go, and that's the bar, the black, up. It's another one.
Where is
Just to the right.
where is it? It's not,
Right there.
oh, there it is. Okay, duh. Sorry, I was looking for something green. Because usually it's green. Okay, folks, am I there?
Yes.
So we're good now? Okay, slideshow. How about if I just do slideshow?
Done from Colonel Slade. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so folks on Zoom, just real quick, I'm guessing you did not see this photo. This is what a halo looks like, and to just back off on your post-processing. And here's just an example of sensor spots. And you can see that they're all over the place. But if you go, and here's another example. And if you go to in Lightroom, you can see where I am. I've got, oops, go back. You can see this is the healing, this is like the eraser here in Lightroom. And then say visualize spots. And then down here, dust removal. So go to do those three steps, and it comes up with a kind of a cool black and white high pass kind of look. And it shows you where the spots are. And if you click on dust, it will then show you what it's done. And then the bottom one is where all the dust spots have been eliminated. So you don't do anything. You don't have to sit there with your remove tool or your eraser tool. It does it automatically.
Which version of Lightroom is this?
Latest, greatest, a classic,
Subscription.
then you have this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so just go,
but isn't there's like Lightroom Classic and then.
okay, this is Lightroom Classic, not the Lightroom
Yeah.
regular. Reflections in the same place. Have you seen this? Here's a gentleman. I photographed him through a window. This was street photography, so I was photographing him through the window. Here again in that same place where I did the dust removal, just down from that, do reflections. reflections, distraction removal, reflections, apply, and to see where it says preview, there's three different types of levels: preview, standard, and best. And I just did preview, and look at what I get. And I gotta tell you, that would have taken me hours and not done as good a job. Yes. So I'll go back just real quick. Before, after. This does not work on glasses.
Okay.
You know, like people wearing glasses. It does not work on that, at least not yet.
I got another question. I take a lot of photographs driving at 60 miles an hour. And the front is blurred. Will this same sort of thing?
No, that's a shutter speed.
Yeah.
Or are you talking about it's blurred because of just the curvature of the windshield? No, that would be different. Nice try though.
Is it something? An AI remedy that somehow?
Yeah, I bet they can.
Yeah, we were trying.
It'd be worth trying. Okay, do you guys know what chromatic aberration is? Have you seen that checkbox in Lightroom? Here's my advice, just keep it checked. Just check it every time.
Or do you have to go check it out?
No, you can do it in the whole thing about, well, like in preferences and stuff,
Yeah.
but also when you're importing photos, you can have it that's one of the things that is checked when you import those photos. So chromatic aberration is a lens defect. And so what you'll see are like purples and green and blue outlines. I have to tell you, it took me a really long time to find an example of chromatic aberration from something that I'd shot in the past. This is an owl. Can you see that there's kind of a fringe, a red fringe, like especially on the ridge line? Can you see that there's something kind of going on there? That's chromatic aberration. You often get it when you're wide open, like f2.8 or something. If you have that chromatic aberration checkbox, then you probably don't even know that you've got an issue.
Correct.
So this fringe is noticeable. Here's another example. I had to really fuss with this to make it chromatic aberration. But here again, you can see there's something going on, something just kind of weird, fuzzy color right here. And then along the beak and stuff, that's a blue. And you don't want that. So, you know, it's almost like a prism where the colors are just separating and you need to be aware that that's happening. So here you go in Lightroom. You can click on remove chromatic aberration. Also click the next button, the enable profile corrections. That's a good one to always keep checked also. And then in Photoshop, it's a little more detailed. You use an eyedropper and you then sample the purple, the green, and the blue so that it's eliminated that way. It knows that sample of that color. Yeah.
Turn the profile correction on import as well.
I think so. I'm pretty sure you can. I don't know why I don't. I guess I just do it automatically.
And I'll go in and do it.
Yeah.
Profile correction, so you check that box does this.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I always check it and then uncheck it to see if I like, because sometimes I like unchecked better. Okay, so kind of have these things in the back of your head, like what would make your photo better? Is it a snapshot? Is it boring? Is there a distracting background? Are there eye catchers? Eye catchers are when you're looking at a photo and something just catches your eye. Mergers, that's when you've got two things that are kind of overlapping each other and it's keeping you from seeing just a more, just a nicer looking photo. Does your eye stay in the photo or do you just kind of travel out of the photo? And also because we're a Western civilization, we read from left to right. And so we look at photos from left to right. And so that is more pleasing to us from left to right than from right to left. And I'll show you an example. So here's something, I was so fascinated by this cypress hedgerow, except obviously this sucks because it's terrible time of day. So I go back, that's better. It's actually slightly different place too. So you're going like, wait a minute, that's not the same. But here's some issues. That top part, that's distracting and ugly. The bright, that little bit of white that's showing from the sky, you don't want that. That just makes your photo, you make sure I mean, don't you agree that your eye just goes right there? Also those sticks off to the left, that takes your eye out of the photo. So you don't want that. We've just got more eye catchers. Can you see there's like, just like stones or fragments of something going along the trunks of the trees there. All those catch your eye. Don't like that. There's that merger I was talking about. Can you see how that just sort of bothers you? So keep an eye out for those. And then here your eye is let out of the photo. So you don't want that. You want your eye to stay. You want people to be looking at your photo, not going on to the next one. So I darken over there. So now that's darker. That keeps your eye in. I take out the ugly stuff at the top. The potato, it looked like that rock looked like a potato. That's now gone. All that sort of trash, the just detritus from leaves and stuff, just take all those out. Can you see how now it's just gradually the photo is just starting to look a little bit better? And then here's the final photo without all the distractions. Another thing you can consider is just cropping. And you want to be able to tell your story. When you think about your photo and you're presenting it to other people, you want them to get what you're trying to say. If you have a photo that has just got everything in the photo, then they're not going to know where to look. You do because you took the photo. But consider when you're cropping so that people are essentially forced to get your message. Here's one with a mountain lion. You kind of get the message, right? Here's the full frame.
Well, yeah.
Totally different story, right? You can also use cropping to get rid of parts of the photo that you don't like. Like right now, I do not care for that that light in the lower right-hand corner. My eye goes there because your eye goes to the brightest part of the photo. So my eye's going to the little area right there. So I take, just by cropping, I take your eye from not going there, but I still feel that it could be more powerful. And so I crop it even more. And one of the things I like to do is to have this diagonal line and then kind of mimicking the corner. So you've got this really nice, powerful line there. Diagonal lines are more powerful than straight up and down or horizontal lines. So keep that in mind when you're doing photos. Also, here's the left to right example. If you are looking from the left and you're just going along, you stop at the subject. And if this, bless you, and if the subject is on the left, then you've just stopped and you've kind of missed the rest of the photo. So here's just watching, going from the left to the right. You've got all that empty space that your eye's not taking advantage of. What if you flip the photo? If there's no writing in the photo, or it's not like Mount Rushmore, or something recognizable, then consider flipping the photo, see if that works. Also, is your photo noisy? That's, or back in the day, grainy. In the mirrorless cameras now are so crazy for what you can do for your ISOs. I have had to shoot, because I shoot events and stuff, I've had to shoot at ISO 25,600 and they come out. See, Charles is shaking his head. So you can see the difference between the noisy and the clean image. I did some street photography in Nashville. And can you see it's almost like they're peppery looking with the grain? Oh, and by the way, let me go back one. Can you see that I'm at 10,000 ISO to photograph this? That's that orange arrow on the top is showing that 10,000 ISO. So here I am. All you have to do is to click on the noise. The noise, is it that one over there? And it takes a little while.
Does she have a halo?
Yeah, she does, but it's from the neon lights. Good catch. And then also, while I'm at it, can you see the like the above the traffic light? Can you see the wires? Again, in Lightroom, do a little of that to take out the wires. And then I decide I don't like these people. And so also in Lightroom, on that same panel that has reflection and visualize spots, I take out, I tell it remove people. And there are the people gone. On the left are the people, and on the right are no people. But here again, be very careful when you do this sort of stuff, because can you see? Look at what the heck is this? It was honky tonk, but when it was selected, that got selected too. So, and you can kind of deselect it. You can fine tune your selection. But look what it decided on. It decided on some other language. This is how you know when somebody uses AI irresponsibly. Like, do you remember when, who was it? The princess, Harry's, no, not Harry's, with all the fingers. She had that portrait of the family, and the kids, their fingers were all whacked. So just be more careful. And here's the final image without the people in it, but also with that weird, no longer saying honky tonk.
Can you erase the honky tonk thing?
Oh yeah, I could have gone back and fixed that.
Not long. Total honky tonk back into this one.
Exactly.
Did you in the good though? Did you in the good?
Yeah.
Maybe, come on, give me a break.
Okay, you guys know what keystoning is? That's when you photograph buildings and the buildings look like they're leaning in, or they're misshapen, they're trapezoidal. Yeah, it could be because of wide angle. It could be, okay, so this was street photography. I am shooting from the hip. I have my camera down low because he doesn't even know that I'm photographing him. I don't have my camera to my face. I'm photographing without looking. And so I've got these buildings are keystone because of it. That's another Lightroom. It's the transform on the panel over here. It's transform, and I just did an auto. But can you see the difference? Here's us. No, it's in the transform panel. It's down lower. Yeah.
Is that new?
No, it's been there for years. Yeah.
Can I straighten people? I feel like I see people kind of getting like distorted images too sometimes. Or
Try
just
it.
for both.
Yeah, try it. So I'll just go back just one. So this is before, and just by clicking the transform auto, that's, everything is straightened up. And when in any architectural photos, you want those verticals straight. So keep an eye on that. You don't want people to go like, wait a minute, that's not my building. So, and then converting things to black and white can often improve your photo. This is for you, Bill. I put this in for you. Because Bill and I went to Cheyenne Frontier Days together. And we are shooting between two poles above and below, so you can see them. You can see what I've got there. That black is a pole below me and a pole above me, and I'm photographing. So I want to crop it, obviously, to make it interesting, but where does your eye go? Yeah, to the 4.7. So what do? You change it to black and white, and that's no longer where your eye goes. And then, of course, because I want to tell a story, and I got, like now I'm guessing that your eye is going to Long Live Cowgirls, maybe? Or the guys in the background. I'm guessing it's not going to the steer wrestler. So cut them out. Change it to black and white. You don't have that issue anymore with the 4.7. And you've got a more successful photo. I am going to skip my real assignment unless you guys want me to keep going, because I don't want, this is taking a lot longer with the, see, he wants me to, you want me to keep going? Okay. All right, I'll go fast. So I was hired to photograph, these are the women at State Farm. That's why they're all wearing red scarves. But the one in the middle has her eyes closed. And so that's another issue. How do you open eyes? First I'm just doing an auto slider to perk things up a little bit. And then I go to another frame where her eyes are open. This is the woman in the middle. In this photo, her eyes are open. So I go to, still in Lightroom. Have you guys ever clicked on the previous button? It's at the bottom. What that does is it gives you whatever settings that were on your screen previously, that immediately before this photo, those are the previous settings that then are now being adopted by this new photo. So let me go back. So here is my original photo where her eyes are closed. So I like how my slider was for everything in this. There's my slider. I go to this photo. I have to match them because I want her skin tone and everything to be the same as the other photo. So I click previous. So now I know that those two photos have the same settings. Then I take a tip. I do right click, edit in Photoshop. No. I'm on the photo. That's the photo with her eyes open. So I just lasso her eyes. Then I copy and paste. Can you see now that there's two sets of eyes? And that's my eye layer. And that's me at just not 100%. It's a 60% opacity or whatever opacity works for you. Can you see how the eyes, that's because I've got two sets of eyes going at the same time so that I can match them up because you don't want the second set of eyes to not be in the same place. So by having it at an opacity, you then line them up perfectly at a lower opacity. And now I'm making it a black mask so that you can't see it, and using a brush. See, I've got brush, and then it's a white brush because you can see that because that's right here. That's a white, there's a brush, white brush on a black mask. And here I am. Can you see that I'm half removing the layer that's on the top and revealing her eye from below? That's halfway done. And that's what the mask looked like. So that I am on that black mask, so that I am only revealing her eyes. And now her eyes are open. Does that make sense? Didn't you like that? Come on, Ron. Okay, so I thought I was done, right? I said, okay, everybody, here you go. And they said, wait a minute. What the heck am I doing with my feet? And can you see that her feet are just kind of a little wonky there? She said, I don't like that. I said, well, I can fix that. I put a dog there. But that wasn't fair. And you can see,
Spectacular.
and going back, can you see her foot is up against the dang bridge? So not only did I didn't put the puppy there, but I had to rebuild that piece of bridge too, because that was covered up. See, look, see, it's covered up. I had to rebuild that, and I had to rebuild the planking. And this is the final photo. If you don't want your photos to suck, then go somewhere. This is also from the Cheyenne that I went with Bill. Thank you again, Bill. And this is missed it by that much. And this came in 9th in the world in the it's almost an Olympic style competition called the World Photographic Cup. 31 countries participating. And here's Team USA. And you probably recognize some of these people because some of them have spoken to the Camera Club. Dave Soldano, he did a drone presentation for us. Ken Childress lives in Colorado Springs. That may be it. I'm sorry. Oh, Kenzie Hunter is going to be in Elevate the Friday. And then US won the World Photographic Cup last year.
Where was that going?
Ecuador. Quito.
Keto.
Yeah, Quito, Ecuador. This year, so I am not on this year's team. I was asked last year, but not this year. This year it's in Reykjavik. I would have gone to Reykjavik. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I wasn't comfortable as a woman alone going to Ecuador. I didn't. Oh, okay. I'll remember that. Oh, yeah, that's true. Here's just some other places that I've been recently. This is Caddo Lake, and this one was called Where the Light Ends. Caddo Lake is on the Texas-Louisiana border. And after listening to Jeff Johnson, who said, you better make this black and white, I did. What do you think? Which do you like? You don't like it as much? You like it in color?
Two pictures. You don't have to like one better than the other. You got two.
Oh, okay, I like that. That's good. And because of what I've shown you tonight and some of the other Evergreen Camera Club speakers that you've had. I really hope that you're just inspired. And I want to show you that we had Jurgen here back in February before the lunar eclipse. And this was his poster about, for Evergreen Camera Club. And that inspired me when we had the lunar eclipse with the blood moon. This was mine. Obviously, I was inspired by what he did, and I wanted to see if I could do something similar, except we don't have beaches, so I had to use mountains. And then of course, just don't forget the basic stuff, look at your histogram, watch your horizon, see if anything is distracting. Don't forget about composition, the rule of thirds, but also diagonal lines, leading lines, golden triangle, and learn. Let's say learn from the masters. There is a website called printcompetition.com. If you are interested in competing, well, I guess I can just say, ask me, because that opens up so many different doors in the world of competing with your photographs. And then next month, it's the Jeff and Rick show, but Rick is ill right now. So next month, Tina, you've got Jeff coming, on Zoom, Jeff, and then it may be Kevin Holiday, or it may be somebody else. And we're really excited about that, because that is super special, guys. So please submit something. And I would highly recommend that you submit something that you will then be wanting to know because of the calendar contest, which is in June.
And we're submitting raw photos for this time,
For what?
for this.
For Jeff?
Yeah.
No, just a final photo, just whatever you're ready to photo. It doesn't have to be a raw image. It can be a JPEG. In fact, he probably wants it to be a JPEG just because of the, yeah, it's too big. Otherwise, a raw would be too big. You know what? In most competitions, they want 4,000 pixels on the long end. And so that's typically, I think, what people enter for the Jeff and Rick show. And please go to the Image Critique Show. It's every month, the last Thursday of the month, correct? I believe. And you want to hear about, just if I can say, guys talking photography, going through everybody's photo that's been submitted, which, by the way, is $10 or $15 or $20 to submit your photo. And they will give you the greatest 5-minute critique of your photo. That it's impressive. And then if you want to find me, I'm around. I'm here. I'm in Evergreen. And thank you so much. I know this has been, with the technical issues and stuff like that. And Bill's incredibly long announcements. So I apologize that this took a lot longer than it was supposed to. So thank you.
Good.